The Ocean of Theosophy by William Quan Judge. Published in 1893. Chapter 3. The Earth Chain. Coming now to our Earth, the view put forward by Theosophy regarding its genesis, its evolution and the evolution of the human, animal and other monads, is quite different from modern ideas, and in some things contrary to accepted theories. But the theories of today are not stable. They change with each century, while the theosophical one never alters because, in the opinion of those elder brothers who have caused its repromulgation and pointed to its confirmation in ancient books, it is but a statement of facts in nature. The modern theory is, on the contrary, always speculative, changeable, and continually altered. Following the general plan outlined in preceding pages, the Earth is sevenfold. It is an entity and not a mere lump of gross matter. And being thus an entity of a septenary nature, there must be 6 other globes which roll with it in space. This company of 7 globes has been called the Earth Chain, the planetary chain. In esoteric Buddhism this is clearly stated, but there a rather hard and fast materialistic view of it is given and the reader led to believe that the doctrine speaks of 7 distinct globes, all separated from though connected with each other. One is forced to conclude that the author meant to say that the globe Earth is as distinct from the other 6 as Venus is from Mars. This is not the doctrine. The Earth is one of 7 globes, in respect to man's consciousness only, because when he functions on one of the 7 he perceives it as a distinct globe and does not see the other 6. This is in perfect correspondence with man himself, who has 6 other constituents of which only the gross body is visible to him because he is now functioning on the Earth, or the 4th globe, and his body represents the Earth. The whole 7 globes constitute one single mass or great globe and they all interpenetrate each other. But we have to say globe, because the ultimate shape is globular or spherical. If one relies too closely on the explanation made by Mr. Sinnett, it might be supposed that the globes did not interpenetrate each other but were connected by currents or lines of magnetic force. And if too close attention is paid to the diagrams used in the secret doctrine to illustrate the scheme, without paying due regard to the explanations and cautions given by H.P. Blavatsky, the same error may be made. But both she and her adept teachers say that the 7 globes of our chain are in coordination with each other but not in consubstantiality. Secret Doctrine, Volume 1, p. 166, 1st edition. This is further enforced by cautions not to rely on statistics or plain surface diagrams, but to look at the metaphysical and spiritual aspect of the theory as stated in English. Thus from the very source of Mr. Sinnett's book we have the statement, that these globes are united in one mass though differing from each other in substance, and that this difference of substance is due to change of center of consciousness. The Earth chain of 7 globes as thus defined is the direct reincarnation of a former chain of 7 globes, and that former family of 7 was the Moon chain, the Moon itself being the visible representative of the 4th globe of the old chain. When that former vast entity composed of the Moon and 6 others, all united in one mass, reached its limit of life, it died just as any being dies. Each one of the 7 sent its energies into space and gave similar life or vibration to cosmic dust, matter, and the total cohesive force of the whole kept the 7 energies together. This resulted in the evolving of the present Earth chain of 7 centers of energy or evolution combined in one mass. As the Moon was the 4th of the old series, it is on the same plane of perception as the Earth, and as we are now confined in our consciousness largely to Earth, we are able only to see one of the old 7, to wit, our Moon. When we are functioning on any of the other 7 we will perceive in our sky the corresponding old corpse which will then be a moon, and we will not see the present moon. Venus, Mars, Mercury and other visible planets are all fourth-plane globes of distinct planetary masses and for that reason are visible to us, their companion six centers of energy and consciousness being invisible. All diagrams on plane surfaces will only becloud the theory because a diagram necessitates linear divisions. The stream or mass of egos which evolves on the seven globes of our chain is limited in number, yet the actual quantity is enormous. For though the universe is limitless and infinite, yet in any particular portion of cosmos in which manifestation and evolution have begun there is a limit to the extent of manifestation and to the number of egos engaged therein. And the whole number of monads now going through evolution on our Earth chain came over from the old seven planets or globes which I have described. Esoteric Buddhism calls this mass of egos a life wave, meaning the stream of monads. It reached this planetary mass, represented to our consciousness by the central point our Earth, and began on globe A or no. I, coming like an army or river. The first portion began on globe A and went through a long evolution there in bodies suited to such a state of matter, and then passed on to B, and so on through the whole seven greater states of consciousness which have been called globes. When the first portion left A, others streamed in and pursued the same course, the whole army proceeding with regularity round the centenary route. This journey went on for 4 circlings round the whole, and then the whole stream or army of egos from the old moon chain had arrived, and being complete, no more entered after the middle of the 4th round. The same circling process of these differently arrived classes goes on for 7 complete rounds of the whole 7 planetary centers of consciousness. And when the 7 are ended, as much perfection as is possible in the immense period occupied will have been attained, and then this chain or mass of globes will die in its turn to give birth to still another series. Each one of the globes is used by evolutionary law for the development of 7 races, and of senses, faculties and powers appropriate to that state of matter. The experience of the whole 7 globes being needed to make a perfect development. Hence we have the rounds and races. The round is a circling of the 7 centers of planetary consciousness, the race the racial development on one of those 7. There are 7 races for each globe, but the total of 49 races only makes up 7 great races. The special septennate of races on each globe or planetary center composing in reality one race of 7 constituents or special peculiarities of function and power. And as no complete race could be evolved in a moment on any globe, the slow, orderly processes of nature, which allow no jumps, must proceed by appropriate means. Hence sub-races have to be evolved one after the other before the perfect root race is formed, and then the root race sends off its offshoots while it is declining and preparing for the advent of the next great race. As illustrating this, it is distinctly taught that on the Americas is to be evolved a new, 6th, race, and here all the races of the earth are now engaged in a great amalgamation, from which will result a very highly developed sub-race, after which others will be evolved by similar processes until the new one is completed. Between the end of any great race and the beginning of another there is a period of rest, so far as the globe is concerned, for then the stream of human egos leaves it for another one of the chain in order to go on with further evolution of powers and faculties there. But when the last, the 7th, race has appeared and fully perfected itself, a great dissolution comes on, similar to that which I briefly described as preceding the birth of the Earth's chain, and then the world disappears as a tangible thing, and so far as the human ear is concerned there is silence. This, it is said, is the root of the belief so general that the world will come to an end, that there will be a judgment day, or that there have been universal floods or fires. Taking up evolution on the earth, it is stated that the stream of monads begins first to work up the mass of matter in what are called elemental conditions when all is gaseous or fiery. for the ancient and true theory is that no evolution is possible without the monad as vivifying agent. In this first stage there is no animal or vegetable. Next comes the mineral when the whole mass hardens, the monads being all imprisoned within. Then the first monads emerge into vegetable forms, which they construct themselves, and no animals yet appear. Next the first class of monads emerges from the vegetable and produces the animal, then the human astral and shadowy model, and we have minerals, vegetables, animals and future men, for the second and later classes are still evolving in the lower kingdoms. When the middle of the fourth round is reached, no more monads emerge into the human stage and will not until a new planetary mass, reincarnated from ours, is made. This is the whole process roughly given, but with many details left out, for in one of the rounds man appears before the animals. But this detail need lead to no confusion. And to state it in another way, the plan comes first in the universal mind, after which the astral model or basis is made, and when that astral model is completed, the whole process is gone over so as to condense the matter, up to the middle of the fourth round. Subsequent to that, which is our future, there whole mass is spiritualized with full consciousness and the entire body of globes raised up to a higher plane of development. In the process of condensing above referred to there is an alteration in respect to the time of the appearance of man on the planet, but as to these details the teachers have only said, that at the second round the plan varies, but the variation will not be given to this generation. Hence it is impossible for me to give it. But there is no vagueness on the point that 7 great races have to evolve here on this planet, and that the entire collection of races has to go 7 times round the whole series of 7 globes. Human beings did not appear here in 2 sexes first. The first were of no sex, then they altered into hermaphrodite, and lastly separated into male and female. And this separation into male and female for human beings was over 18 million years ago. For that reason is it said, in these ancient schools, that our humanity is 18 million years old and a little over.